So you're here today just to learn a little bit more about Bond 2022. So we're going to start off with a video that's going to take you back all the way to 2008. It's going to share with you what we've done over the past several bond elections and give you an idea of not just what we've done, but where we've done it. Thanks to the clear direction of CCISD's Board of Trustees and the support of our community, CCISD has made great progress in building new schools and significantly renovating many schools and other facilities district-wide. In the last 14 years, we have been fortunate to pass 6 school bonds as part of our efforts to provide contemporary learning environments for all students. The $192 million bond in 2008 built 6 brand new schools and included renovations to science labs, athletic upgrades, technology updates, and numerous other improvements for all CCISD campuses. In 2010, a bond was passed to build Veterans Memorial High School, the first new CCISD high school in 50 years. This $125 million bond also enabled us to build Dorothy Adkins Middle School in response to the growth on the south side of town. A $100 million bond passed in 2014 provided for a new Los Encinos Elementary and Windsor Park Elementary, plus a consolidated campus for Calk and Wilson Elementaries. It also included classroom upgrades for crowded schools. Bond 2016 addressed several of our exterior wing middle schools. Cunningham and South Park Middle Schools were combined in one new building. Marvin Baker Middle School was replaced, and classroom expansion of Haas Middle School allowed for Cullen Middle School students to join this campus. A $210 million bond in 2018 facilitated the construction of a new Mary Carroll High School. This package also included gyms and locker rooms for 5 of our older middle schools and additional technology and safety vestibules for campuses across CCISD. Most recently, the 2020 bond enabled us to construct 3 more elementary campuses. A consolidation of Meadowbrook, Montclair, and Woodlawn will be located at the new Cullen Place Elementary. A new Weldon Gibson Elementary School building and an additional school, Creekside Elementary, will bring new school buildings to the outer reaches of our district. Significant renovations to Minger Elementary and classroom upgrades at Roy Miller and W.B. Ray High Schools are also included in this bond. CCISD takes care to act with intention to create bond packages that, taken as a whole, affect all neighborhoods to help achieve our goal of providing our students, staff, and community with modern schools. Please review the information in the following presentation to learn more about our Bond 2022 proposal. Thank you. Okay, so Bond 2022 is a $220 million package, and this is what's in this package. 2 new middle schools, a renovation to an elementary school where we would consolidate Allen Elementary and Evans Elementary, and we're going to tell you more about each bullet in a second. 2 middle school gymnasiums, playground and marquee upgrades across the entire city, and then the most important piece for you, relatives, neighbors across the city is that we are able to do the $220 million package at no increase to our CCISD tax rate. As far as deciding what gets put in a bond, we had a long-range planning committee. This committee met several times. It consisted of community members, it consisted of staff, we had some students. They discussed the utilization of our current facilities, looking at now into 10 years down the road. And then they looked at the use of, the utilization and the condition of the facility itself. You know, was it a newer facility, older facility? Was it better to just demolish a building and start with a new one, or what could we do with the existing buildings? And so we took the recommendations to the board, and then the board approved to call Bond 2022. And so we're going to share with you what's in that package. Let's start with Hamlin Middle School. Hamlin Middle School is on Staples Street. It serves grades 6th, 7th, and 8th, and we propose to build a brand new Hamlin Middle School to replace the old one. Hamlin is 68 years old. It's done some really good things during its time, but it was built at a time that we had open wing campuses. So in the last bond packages, we've replaced all of those open wing middle schools and either have joined them together or built them brand new schools. Hamlin was built with that open wing design. So what you see in this photo here is that you see students walking outside, transitioning from class to class. Now, as you know, when it rains, it doesn't rain straight down. It's usually at an angle, so when kids are going to class, there's no way for them to avoid going through the rain and the elements. If it's freezing cold, they're outside having to get to class, and even when it's hot. And the reason they built schools like this back in the day is because there were no air conditioners in schools. So they wanted kids outside as much as they could have them. The issue here too is just safety. It's not safe to have our kids outside, especially when people are driving, strangers in the neighborhood. The other thing important to point out is look at the doors. The doors all open to the exterior as they're entering the classroom. So as we try to cool down the classrooms, all of these classrooms have window units. And so for our staff, the staff have to teach over the window unit sound. And our students are trying to pay attention the entire time too, just listening to the teacher with a louder voice to get over the window units. So you sit in class 50, 55 minutes, you're trying to cool the class down, kids are hot, they're coming in, you teach, and then the kids transition to the next class. When you open that door, not only are the kids are gonna leave, but what's gonna leave with them? All of the air that you just cooled the classroom down with, only to try to get it cooled down for the next period when the next class comes in. So you can see it presents a lot of challenges, and this has been a goal of ours from the beginning when we replaced the new middle schools with the prototype that you see on the right, and they have been beautiful. So all of these schools are prototypes. They may have a little different look from the outside facade, but once you get in that front entryway, they're all the same. They're identical schools. We would build Hamlin for 750 students. That's a little smaller than we've done for Atkins and Baker and Cunningham at South Park because they have more students in those areas. Hamlin is a well-established area. Most of those families are now in the retirement age, so you don't have thousands and thousands of kids in that area, but you still have enough kids to have a nice newer school. So this is the Hamlin project, and we hope to open that in 2025. This is the new middle school that would go out on the southeast side, just like we're doing with Creekside Elementary School to help overcrowding at Colda Elementary, at Ella Barnes Elementary, at Mireles and Webb. So Barnes, Mireles, and Webb are all elementary schools that have had 10 classrooms added to their current campuses with additional wings. And so that is where a lot of that growth is, and will continue to be. If you haven't been out that way, a lot of that open land that's been here for years, if you're from this area and nobody did anything with, it's almost like over the last year they've decided we're gonna take it all at one time. So when we purchased the land for the new Creekside Elementary, we knew we better go ahead and get some land now, because if we wait too long, there won't be any land to get. Those rooftops are going up every day, the roads are already laid, the property has been sold, and they're just waiting for the homes to go up. So when we purchased Creekside property, we purchased enough land for the middle school, and this is the middle school that would go out there. Consolidation of Allen and Evans. They've been around a long time. Evans Elementary is between 50 and 60 years old. They all serve pre-K through 5. What we want to do here is, because they continue to lose enrollment, the neighborhoods that they're in, especially Evans, is not the safest neighborhood. Because these two campuses are very small, we're able to put Evans Elementary into Allen Elementary. We would give Allen an additional wing of classrooms. We would spiff it up and renovate it, give it some new paints, new walls, lighting, just to really make it look much nicer. And that would take that campus to about 500 students, because they're both under 250. So that's what we would do here. And the reason they might ask you, well, why don't you just tear them both down and build a new one? Well, the reason is because Allen was built in the 80s. It's a very nice school. It's modern, it's closed in, so kids are in the building all the time, and that's really what our purpose is to put them in a safer environment. At Evans, they do walk outside, they transition outside, they have portable buildings in the back, and so that is why we feel we need to get them in the building and not so much outside movement. Gymnasiums. It's a good problem to have when you really encourage your kids to get involved into athletics and extracurricular. So we have big athletic programs in particular schools. When we first built Atkins Middle School, the prototype then was to include just one gymnasium. But over time, because now they have so many kids with A teams, B teams, C teams, boys and girls, basketball, volleyball, anything that requires indoor practice time. And then if it's bad weather that kids can't get outside for outdoor sports, they bring them inside too. So the deal here is to go back to Atkins, even though it is a newer school, give them the second gym that they never received. Since that time, all of our new middle schools have 2 gyms, and we went back 2 bonds ago and put in an additional gym at Caffey Middle School and at Grant Middle School, and they've made the biggest difference. And I can tell you as a parent, because I went through this, when my son was in middle school, I had to bring him up at 6 in the morning just to get some basketball practice time. We had some parents bringing their kids later in the evening. Some got practice time during the day, and then we even put basketball goals on the tennis courts just to give them more hard court surface to practice. So we would do that at Atkins, and we would do that at Driscoll Middle School. The next component of this project is playgrounds. So we know playgrounds are important for our younger kids. We would love to have the newest and safest playgrounds across the district, but the fact of the matter is we don't. Playgrounds are very expensive. We are in an area, as you know, where there's a lot of moisture in the air, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of salt. And so these facilities, if they're not the proper ones we really need, they're going to rust, wear and tear much sooner, and they're probably good for 10, 15 years or so. Now, we recognize many schools' PTAs get behind them and raise money for new playgrounds, but not every school can do that. They don't have the resources. They don't have the support from PTAs to be able to raise that kind of money. And playgrounds today, last I checked, run from anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 just for an elementary playground. So it does run into a lot of money. So in our bond, we're hoping to upgrade our playgrounds at least 25 elementary schools across the district. And communication. Communication is so key. Recently, in districts across the state, not just here in CCISD, there has been even a greater need for communication. Now, I'm dating myself, but if you look at this marquee sign, this was the kind of sign I grew up with going through school. The only way you're going to change a message on this sign is with the long extension rod that has the suction cup letters to go try to put a word up there. Isn't it frustrating when you're going by a school and you're reading the marquee and it was something that happened 3 weeks ago? Yeah, so that's not really doing anything for our parents in our community. So the marquee upgrade would be that these schools get digital electronic marquees. The nice thing is that you don't have to send anyone outside to get out there and update that message as fast as you can. They can do it all inside the building. Type it up, make it look nice, hit an enter button, and it's already on display for all your parents traveling around. So our hope is to communicate better with 35 new digital electronic marquees across the district. So here's your breakdown. Hamlin Middle School, you'll see there at 88. Remember, it is being built smaller than our normal prototypes. They're all at 900 or 1,200, but Hamlin would be at 750 students. A new middle school for 900 students on the south side for overcrowding and just staying ahead of that. The new renovation for Allen and Evans Elementary coming together into one school. We would demolish the old Evans like we have all of our older schools. We would add the 2 gymnasiums to Driscoll and Atkins Middle School. The playground and the marquee upgrades total right at about $5 million. And then this last bullet here, you might be wondering, what is that? Well, so because when we bought the property for Creekside Elementary School, we knew that someday there's going to have to be a new middle school out here. We went ahead and bought enough property then, and thank goodness we did, because if we were to go look for it today, there is none big enough to house a middle school. So we would be able to reimburse the district for the money that was spent for that property, and then it goes back into our district general fund. So the total cost, $220 million, again, at no increase to the CCISD tax rate. Two key contact people are John DeBala. Y'all all know John. He's been with us over the last several years in all of our projects. Leanne Libby is our Chief Communications Officer. She's kind of the one who coordinates where we're going to go speak. So any questions that anyone has, if they direct them to you and you don't know, you can send them to ccisd.us. Key dates, October 24th through November 4th is our early voting dates. And many of our district facilities, as always, are voting sites. And so that is our Bond 2022. So thank you so much for coming.